Is this the clicker? I'll just stay right here. Alright. Hi guys. Go ahead and ignore the Wi-Fi box down there. It won't cancel, go away. But we created what we are calling the Bjorn gas token. We will get to the story behind the name. But essentially what it is our very own cryptocurrency. More specifically, it's an ERC20 token built on the Ethereum platform. But in the midst of our process, we really took solace in this quote from Thomas Edison. I've not failed 10,000 times. I've successfully discovered 10,000 ways to not make a light bulb. That works. So before we start, you get, for those of you who don't know, you will be really in the dark if you don't know at least a little bit of background behind what a blockchain is, so I will briefly describe that for you. So I put here that it's a peer-to-peer network, and then this diagram just really well explains that. So we have over here P2P and server-based, and in this one there's a server in between, and the other one, it's just every computer's, like, so if I send money to Ryan, Bitcoin specifically, it goes straight from me to Ryan. There's not a bank in between validating that transaction. So instead of someone in the center validating every transaction, everyone validates everyone's transactions. So they do this by an open distributed ledger that everyone can see. So it's a very brief overview of what a blockchain is. Now, Ethereum, which is what we use, is a little more complicated because it executes not only transactions but other pieces of code. So if like these two platforms are a vending machine, Bitcoin can actually only accept your money, whereas Ethereum can accept your money and then give you the soda. So, and what that interaction is called, where it's like accept money, give soda, is called a smart contract. So that's what we tried to build. We wanted to build a currency that interacted with a website that we tried to build.
Basically, a smart contract is a sheet of code that basically gives like the vending machine instructions. It's like whenever you give it an input, such as currency, money, whatever it is, it gives an output based on the code, based on the directions that was explained in the code.
Bjorn's going to give some background behind why.
And now we come to the backstory of our product. Elon Musk got a company called the Bjorn Company. Bjorn is also in our name of our product, and he decided to create a flamethrower. And this is not selling it. And we thought it would be a good idea to have a currency during the zombie apocalypse that even Elon Musk is probably planning, because it's peer-to-peer and server-based. Systems will probably not be able to maintain during this zombie apocalypse. So,
Okay, so in case you're lost, I'm going to do this because I went from 0 to kind of understanding all this, and the trick of this. Our currency, essentially, you can transact with people and it'll tell them like one currency is equivalent to this much gas, and the code will execute that's stored in the token. An ERC token, you can think of it as just like a little block of code that stands for like $1, but also says like when this money is given to someone, do this. And that's ideally what a smart contract is. So we created this whole. The concept behind it was we make a peer-to-peer website that people could actually buy fuel for their flamethrowers, and also if they wanted to just trade the currency to each other or exchange it for Bitcoin or Ethereum. And yeah, in essence, that's about the generalization of it. Obstacles. So this was where we spent most of our time. Setting up our environment was the main one, mainly because it took forever for us to figure. I think the first 10 hours of us doing this was pretty much just reading articles and going like, okay, this doesn't work at all. This kind of works. Never mind, no it doesn't. And then continuing on from that step by step. For the website issue, making JavaScript talk to Solidity. Solidity is the language that Ethereum can read. We have no clue. We're still figuring out actually kind of how to make that work for a website. And then, especially because every time we did try it, we couldn't actually finalize it. We have a test server which we're running our coin on, or our token on. So once we actually get it to be a real life token that like anyone in this room could buy, then it can more easily communicate with the website. Yeah, and then finally that like half of it was coding, but the other half was just mainly us looking around and spending hours on the internet searching through random articles, Reddit, and a million other news sources for just general information on how to do this.
So the market that our token actually targets is, well, apparently Elon Musk. We based our token to grab the attention of Elon Musk, saying because we made the coin as a poke to his joke on Twitter, as you saw. So Elon Musk fanboys, because he made only 20,000 flamethrowers with serial numbers of 1 to 20,000. So actually, there are already flamethrowers on eBay going for like $10,000 when they only sold retail 500. Excuse me. Bitcoin holders, you can exchange Bitcoin for our token. Effectively, Ethereum holders, one Ether is worth 500. Yeah, 500 one gas tokens. That's on market. Big thing that we learned actually has to go back to the quote: failing a bunch of times is just as good as succeeding once. So, my bad. I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so failing like 10,000 times is just as good as succeeding however many times it is. We learned that the process of failing actually taught us what won't work versus what will work. We actually grabbed the general understanding of Solidity and Web3 app.
Yeah, that's what talks to the website.
Yeah, it's app programming. It's the application programming interface. That's what API stands for. Solidity is basically the language that you use to make smart contracts for transactions in Ethereum. A better understanding of cryptocurrencies, because we actually had to study other cryptocurrencies and other tokens that people made, other tokens that were already created. Like I said, there are over 100 ways to not do our project correctly, and that was very clear once we were finished.
Alright, so I'm quickly going to do a demonstration of a few things, both our code and then also the major obstacle so we were actually not able to, we spent most of our time on the Web3 API that Vaughn mentioned that was trying to interact with the JavaScript code we built on our web page and the Solidity smart contract. So we weren't able to figure out how to get those two to talk to each other. And one of the big obstacles, as we found out in our research, is that you actually need what is called an Ethereum client or an Ethereum node to do that, which is actually a full download of the Ethereum blockchain, which takes several days to download. And I actually have a live feed of the Ethereum blockchain still downloading on my laptop. This is in process, and actually now that I've shown you guys this, I'm going to need you to ask a question. Would you like the red pill or blue pill? But here is our smart contract code, which we actually did finish, and this is running. It is not able to interact with the web page we're creating, but you can just look through this. Here's where we name it. The BGT is the tag for our guest token, and there's one ether. The rate is 1 ether to 500 BGT, and then yeah, if you guys want to learn more about that, I can talk to you about this afterwards. But
well, I wanted to point out that it's mostly like just plain English, like function table.
Okay.
It's like it's mapping address to. This is the address that you send your Bitcoin to. I mean your token to. It's just basically plain English.
Anyways, this is actually a something that allows that it's kind of like a placeholder for that Web3 API we were talking about, so I can do a demonstration for you guys. So here's my actually Ethereum address and wallet, and I can go to, and this is also a wallet.ethereum.org. I can go and send, so 2.94 Ether. And this is not testnet. Actually, I'm not sending real money to this because I would never do that because ours has a value of $0. But if we go here, and this is our contract address, and if I copy this and put this in the, this is also what's typically called an ICO, where you send Ethereum to a contract and you receive whatever the contract is being sold. So if I send 2 Ethereum to this contract, I should receive 1,000 Bjorn tokens. And it does take a little bit for the, you have to wait for the block to finish, unfortunately.
Which, if you saw from just the download of
So,
it's pretty complex.
So these were our 2 mess ups, and one thing to learn about blockchains is an immutable ledger. So if you mess up, it's there forever. So these are here forever, even though they don't actually exist anymore. And this is our current one. I had 200 Bjorn gas tokens originally. Since I've sent 2 Ethereum to the smart contract address, I actually now own 400 Bjorn tokens. But that's what our, basically what we got.
Yeah. So, don't
And questions? Nora?
So, okay, what exactly did you make? Like, is it something that, let's say, someone like me or someone else who doesn't know anything about your coding could use this, or is this exclusively for the coders?
No. So the original idea, very ambitious for 48 hours, was to create a P2P website, well, much like eBay, right? Where people could, but a lot simpler, where people could simply just put something on there, and also people could come on to buy stuff, so Craigslist or whatever you want. And the currency that would be used in exchange of those products would be our own. So mainly people would just put it on, we would just make the whole thing as a kind of a joke, like a poke at, like, so Elon Musk was fundraising for his company by selling flamethrowers. So we were like, oh, we're going to create a currency for these flamethrowers. Like, most people will probably not, at least we're going to continue actually building this. For the time being, you probably won't be able to use our currency unless you figure out how to download MetaMask and
Any other questions?
Yeah, Charlie.
Can we be one of the CEOs?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Why not?
What did Charlie ask?
If you can be one of the CEOs. You can be the CEO.
Well, if y'all have any more questions, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for